Here, folks, it's me, Chris, with the Gig Man's Life. Yeah, baby, it's a Gig Man's Life indeed. And of course, on this channel, we're all about the gig economy, freelancing on the internet, ride share, delivery. Hell, as long as it's not OF or Cuddle Buddies, we'll be on it. And of course, this is a story idea from our buddy, our pal, our friend, rideshare professor. I don't personally know him, but he's got one of those channels that really reaches out to the Gen X crowd that I'm a part of and is our general attitude about a lot of the shit out here. And what he's talking about is California uh, being the first state and how we're not getting this federally. But the problem is federally usually comes with a lot of regulations that gonna knock out a lot of drivers. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I am not saying it's a bad thing. I knew that this would eventually come down. But what the feds will do is they'll dump it on the states and dump it to the DMV, and you will still have some of the rampant identity theft, but it will have to go through the state now. And this is where anybody else will recognize it. If this goes federally, that you're having the DMVs or the states handle how they are going to ensure background checks are done properly to prevent people who are not legally able to drive, or even that if they don't pass a background check. Massachusetts, I want to say this is what I wanted to go and share with the rideshare professor crowd that reads the comments and then decided, hey, what the hell's the gig man's life? Well, this is what I want to share with you. Massachusetts does require, and this is where I say they don't follow things, is that, and I'm not talking about rideshare, I'm talking about people out there, is that we are to have a placard that says that we have passed both of our background checks and one company we're working for, so that the passenger can view it. It's just like a cabbie license. It's an operator's license, basically. And this is where I'm going, that it's going to be handed to the state. That you would have to still go through the state and get the card, which is going to go and suddenly say, well, you can work delivery until the card gets in from the state, which means that they're going to be doing, oh, yeah, the background checks came through. You took your picture to do this and that everything else. So eventually, this will all get regulated. And then all drivers are going to eventually be dumped down. You can't just jump into this. This is where it's going, folks. But the identity theft, that's gonna end up getting dumped down to the state. The corporation is gonna go, hey, we do our due diligence, but you're not making sure. Massachusetts says it, but I haven't seen it. The only other person I've seen that had the placard out like I do, which is up my front windshield, is another fellow driver who drives part-time. And even and I follow, he still has the stickers. I do electronic design. which I've seen people not follow the law on that because you can't have blue, you can't have red, it can't be flashing, it can't be moving. Everybody likes to go, I got eyes on my car. You got tickets on your car. So, whatever you want to do, you can do you. I do myself. I make sure that I care for my image and my perception. So, when all this comes down, especially with everything else, the bellwether of the $8.5 million settle order against Uber for the misconduct of a driver with a passenger. Of course, they're going to be fighting it, but there's over thousands of current lawsuits that are similar to that. And the market cap on Uber itself is somewhere around $100 billion. So they don't care if it is less than a penny. They care once it gets up to billions. And that's what millions is to large corporations that go up into the 100 billion. Is that once it starts showing up as a percent of the value, not a point, a full percent, that's when they get worried. And this is where 10 years of corporate security, when you do the math on a multi-billion-dollar company talking about $50,000 a week being shrink, you do the math and you go like this and say, wait, that's not even a percent. And they are going, yep. So understand that, yes, this is underlying percent, but that's in one industry. And that's just at the industry providing the materials to the stores. So when things go screwy, prices and everything else, I understand this. This is why I do not get upset with gas prices. It's a part of the game. You have to see it that way. It hurts, but you can always change the game. And that's why you should always be able to pivot. And that's why you should look into Rumble Wallet. I know this is one of those things that they really don't want to talk about here, but I'll take the choice that it's a non-custodial wallet. You can get actual crypto and you can get crypto gold. Just take a look at wallet.rumble.com. I'm just saying they're not a sponsor, but yet of the channel. But, this is being live recorded at the same time so that you understand that. But, anyways, folks, as my point of view on this, yes, they are, no matter what, once the feds get into this to go about identity theft and everything else, all rideshare is going to go and have to show up to the state's DMV department to go through to get clarified and licensed. And once states get into that to go and do background checks, the only ways that you're going to do that is you're going to have commercial insurances. You're going to have to go through the systems. You're not going to be able to jump into any vehicle. And we can say goodbye to the freedom of doing it how we're doing it now. So, folks, you have yourself a good one. Check out the videos as they're now being displayed. It might be interesting. Of course, share this video if you like it, and have a good one.